The message had gone out 6 hours ago. Every star system within Council territory had received it, translated, broadcast, and confirmed. Earth was done. No more treaties, no more tributes, no more subservience masked as cooperation. The words were plain and brutal. Effective immediately, Earth withdraws from the Galactic Council. We recognize no authority beyond our own. Any act of aggression will be met with force. Now Commander Jack Holden sat alone in his quarters aboard the ISS Resolute, a battleship orbiting Earth. The Council's response hadn't come yet, but everyone knew it was coming. Jack ran a hand through his graying hair, jaw tight. He'd spent 20 years fighting under the Council's so-called peacekeeping missions, missions where humans bled and aliens profited. He poured himself a glass of whiskey. The old kind. Not that synthetic crap the off-worlders peddled. His fingers shook a little as he brought the glass to his lips. Not fear. Adrenaline. They'd crossed a line today. A line that couldn't be uncrossed. A sharp knock at the door. Jack didn't answer. He didn't need to. Colonel Marcus Vale strode in without waiting for permission. Broad-shouldered, scar across his chin from the last Council operation on Tharnis IV, where human troops had been sent in first as cannon fodder. "They're mobilizing," Marcus said grimly. "Long-range scans picked up Council fleets forming along the outer sectors. We're looking at no more than 48 hours. Jack nodded slowly. "And Earth's defenses?" "Full readiness. Every ship we've got is armed and fueled. Orbital cannons online, ground-based railguns positioned, but—" Marcus hesitated. Jack met his gaze. "But we're outgunned. Badly," Marcus admitted. "The Council didn't want us as equals. They wanted us dependent. Our tech's 2 generations behind theirs in some areas." Jack set the glass down hard. The Council had done more than stifle Earth's advancement. They'd stolen from them, kept humans on a leash, feeding them just enough scraps of alien tech to keep them begging. That was over now. "Let 'em come," Jack growled. "Better to die free than serve another day." Marcus gave a sharp nod, but the weight in his eyes didn't lift. "There's more. We've picked up chatter, mercenary fleets, bounty hunters. The Council's not just sending their navy, they're putting a price on human heads." Jack's mouth twisted in a bitter smile. Typical. "Cowards. They know if they take us straight up, the galaxy will see their true face, so they'll try to break us from within first." Another knock. This one faster, urgent. Lieutenant Kira Hammond burst in, eyes wide. "Sir, transmission coming through. Unauthorized Council channel. Priority 1. Jack stood. "Put it on." The holoscreen flared to life. A towering alien figure appeared, High Chancellor Rethos of the Galactic Council. Cold reptilian eyes, voice like stone grinding on metal. "Human leadership," Rethos hissed. "You will rescind this foolish declaration and resume your place within the Council immediately. Failure to comply will result in total quarantine and military action. You have 24 standard hours to submit." The screen cut out. The threat hung in the air like a storm about to break. Jack looked at Marcus, then at Kira. "Get the President on a secure line. Tell her to hold her ground." Kira hesitated. "Sir, what if she doesn't?" Jack's jaw hardened. "Then we fight without her." The ISS Resolute thrummed with quiet tension. Every corridor, every control room buzzed with hushed voices, orders passed in clipped tones. Crew members who had once served in routine patrols now loaded live munitions and ran combat drills. Earth's break with the Council wasn't some symbolic gesture anymore. It was a declaration of war. Jack stalked toward the command bridge. His boots echoed off the metal deck, a sharp rhythm that seemed to match the pounding in his chest. His mind raced through the possibilities: Council first strike scenarios, orbital bombardments, blockade tactics. None of it was good. The bridge doors hissed open. Holographic displays lit the room, surrounding the tactical officers like eerie blue ghosts. At the center stood Admiral Rowan Locke, Earth's senior fleet commander. Tall, gaunt, and known for a mind as ruthless as any enemy's. "Commander Holden?" Locke greeted curtly. "Council fleet just jumped into Sector 14. 5 heavy cruisers, 15 frigates, unknown number of escort craft." Jack folded his arms. "Any sign of mercenaries?" Locke's lips thinned. "Civilian vessels trailing just outside engagement range. They'll move in when the shooting starts." Jack grunted. Typical Council strategy. Bleed Earth dry through proxy fighters, then sweep in to finish the job. President Lucien Harper's face flickered onto the main display, patched through from EarthGov command. "Gentlemen," Harper said, voice tight. "You've seen the threat. I'm not backing down. Earth stands." Jack gave a grim nod. Harper had his flaws. He was no soldier, but the man wasn't a coward. At least not today. Admiral Locke's eyes narrowed. "Our ships are ready, but let's not delude ourselves. The Council will outgun us 10-1 in open space. We need to fight smart." Jack spoke without hesitation. "Agreed. We hit their supply lines, force them into close-quarters battles, where their range advantage means less. Make every loss bleed." "Guerrilla warfare," Locke said slowly, "against the most powerful navy in the known systems." Jack's smile was humorless. "Better than rolling over." A sharp tone rang through the bridge. Sensor Chief Lieutenant Brenner called out from his station. "New contact. Multiple jump signatures. Council reinforcements arriving in Sector 9. Estimated arrival to Earth orbit 16 hours. 16 hours? Jack's gut twisted. "We can't defend Earth from orbit alone," Locke said quietly. "If they punch through, they'll glass the cities." Jack leaned over the tactical display. "Then we don't let them punch through. Pull the fleet back just outside Earth's gravity well. Force them to split their formation chasing us. And when they do?" He tapped a series of points on the map. Hidden defense platforms, asteroid-mounted guns, even a few old refitted mining rigs now rigged with rail cannons. "We hit them from every angle. No grand battle, no open field. Just hell." Locke studied the map. "Risky, but it might be our only shot." President Harper's voice cut in. "Do it." There was no time for second-guessing. Orders rippled out across the fleet. Within the hour, Earth ships began repositioning, fracturing into smaller strike groups designed to harass and disrupt the Council's advance. Back on the Resolute, Jack found a moment alone on the observation deck. The stars stretched cold and endless beyond the glass, indifferent to human pride or suffering. He thought of the men and women under his command, green recruits barely out of training, grizzled veterans who had seen too much. He thought of Earth below, its oceans and continents soon to be under siege. He clenched his fists. They would not break. Not without a fight the galaxy would remember. The hours passed with brutal swiftness. By the time Earth's fleet had completed its repositioning, the first wave of the Council's forces was already within sensor range. Jack stood on the Resolute's bridge, flanked by Colonel Marcus Vale and Admiral Locke. The tactical display showed dozens of enemy ships, sleek, silver-edged designs bristling with plasma cannons and shield generators. The Council Navy was built for domination, not mercy. Lieutenant Brenner called out from sensors. "Council fleet in attack formation. They've locked on." "Steady," Locke said. His voice was cool but clipped, tension riding just beneath the surface. Jack narrowed his eyes at the display. "They're spreading their formation. Arrogant bastards think we'll scatter." "Targets of opportunity," Marcus added. "They want to peel us off one by one." "Not this time." Jack turned to comms. "All wings, hold position. Fire on my mark. Make them come to us." A voice crackled over the channel. Captain Deverick from the ISV Hammerfall, an old warhorse of a cruiser. "Commander, if we wait too long, they'll box us in." Jack's tone was iron. "They box us in if we panic. Hold." Outside the viewport, Earth gleamed beneath them, blue and green, fragile against the void. The stakes had never been higher. This wasn't about pride anymore. This was about survival. Suddenly, the deck vibrated with the low hum of incoming fire. Council ships had opened up, long-range plasma lances arcing toward the defensive perimeter. "Shields holding!" Brenner reported, but strain showed in his voice. "Minimal damage, for now." Jack gave the order. "Target the lead frigates. Focus fire. No waste." A dozen railguns fired in unison. Kinetic slugs ripped through the void, slamming into the nearest council ship. Its shields flared, buckled. Then the vessel spun, one engine venting plasma. "Confirmed kill!" Someone shouted. But there was no time to celebrate. The council pressed harder, more ships moving into engagement range. Enemy fighters swarmed like hornets, their nimble craft darting between the larger ships. "Scramble all interceptors," Locke ordered. Jack glanced at Marcus. "Time to bleed them." Marcus grinned, savage and cold. "With pleasure." Across Earth's defensive network, hidden platforms powered up. Camouflaged in asteroid belts and deep orbital shadows, railguns and missile pods sprang to life. Without warning, a storm of fire erupted from the flanks, missiles streaking into the Council's exposed sides, rail slugs puncturing hulls. Chaos bloomed across the enemy formation. "Multiple enemy ships down," Brenner called out. "They're scrambling to regroup." But the Council's response was swift. From the rear of their fleet, heavy dreadnoughts advanced, behemoths bristling with weapons. "Here come the big ones," Marcus muttered. Jack's mind raced. They couldn't hold forever, not against that kind of raw firepower. They needed a way to tilt the field. He keyed into the command channel. "Locke, we pull back another tier. Draw them deeper into the kill zone." "Understood," Locke replied. One by one, Earth's ships shifted position, feigning retreat, luring the Council ships forward. The enemy bit, confident in their overwhelming strength. But then the real trap was sprung. From the far side of Earth's orbit, the ISV Revenant, a stealth cruiser fitted with prototype weaponry, emerged from deep cloak. Jack gave the command. "Fire!" A massive EMP pulse rippled through space, catching the Council's vanguard in its wake. "Direct hits!" Brenner shouted. "Enemy shields collapsing!" In seconds, Earth's forces pounced, pouring concentrated fire into the exposed Council ships. 1, 2, 3 cruisers shattered, debris fields spiraling into the void. But victory came at a price. The ISV Sentinel, caught in the crossfire, took a direct plasma strike. On the screen, Jack watched in grim silence as the ship broke apart. Hundreds of lives lost in an instant. Marcus slammed a fist against the console. "Bastards!" Jack forced himself to stay cold. "No time. We keep pressing." As the battle raged, more Council reinforcements arrived. The tide threatened to turn again. Jack knew this was only the beginning. If they didn't find a way to break the enemy's momentum, Earth wouldn't survive the next wave. And somewhere out there, among the Council's shadow forces, those bounty hunters were still waiting. Jack could feel it. The real fight was coming. The battle had entered its 12th hour. Across Earth's orbit, the void was littered with wreckage, twisted metal, shattered hulls, drifting bodies. Smoke and debris streaked the blackness, casting strange shadows across the stars. Jack hadn't slept, hadn't left the bridge. His eyes burned, throat raw from shouting orders, but he didn't care. He couldn't afford to blink. Lieutenant Brenner's voice broke through the tension. "Commander, new contacts, unknown signatures, non-Council transponders." Jack's gut clenched. He stalked over to the tactical display. A dozen ships, fast and lightly armored, were entering the battle space from the far side of the system. Marcus scowled. "Mercs! The bastards finally showed." Jack's voice was flat. "Put me through to Fleet Command." A moment later, Admiral Locke appeared on the comms. His face was pale, a sheen of sweat on his brow. "Commander, I see them," Locke said. "Privateers, bounty hunters. Council's throwing everything now." Jack nodded grimly. "They'll target key assets, command ships, logistics. We need to cut them off fast." Locke's eyes narrowed. "Agreed. I'll dispatch interceptors." But Jack shook his head. "Won't be enough. I'll take Resolute and a strike wing. We hunt them down directly." Marcus shot him a look. "That's suicide." Jack's gaze didn't waver. "It's necessary." Locke hesitated, then gave a curt nod. "Do it. And Jack, watch your back." Minutes later, the Resolute peeled away from the main fleet, joined by 3 smaller escorts. Engines flared as they accelerated toward the incoming mercenaries. On the bridge, Jack strapped in. He keyed the internal comms. "All hands. This is Commander Holden. We're going hunting. You all know what's out there. These aren't soldiers, they're predators. They'll show no mercy. Neither will we." The crew responded with a low, determined rumble. The first clash came fast. A pair of sleek assault ships dove in, plasma cannons flaring. The Resolute shook under the impact. "Shields at 70%! Brenner called out. Jack's voice cut through. "Target their engines. I want them crippled, not scattered." Railguns fired in precise bursts. The first mercenary ship spiraled, venting atmosphere. The second tried to break off, but one of the escorts caught it in a crossfire, ripping it apart. But more were coming. A swarm of attack craft, darting between the debris fields like sharks. "They're trying to draw us in," Marcus warned. Jack's jaw tightened. "We'll oblige." He keyed the helm. "Push us through the wreckage. Use it for cover." The Resolute dove into the debris field, maneuvering between the drifting hulks of shattered ships. The smaller mercenary craft followed, eager for the kill. But Jack had baited them for a reason. "Trigger mines," he ordered. Hidden charges, set earlier by Earth's engineers, detonated in a sudden cascade. The debris field lit up with fire and shrapnel. Half the pursuing mercs were obliterated in seconds. The rest tried to flee, but Resolute and her escorts pressed the attack. One by one, the hunters fell. By the time the Resolute emerged from the field, only 2 enemy ships remained, fleeing hard for deep space. Jack's voice was cold steel. "Let them run. They'll carry the message. Earth isn't prey." But the victory rang hollow. As they returned to formation, news came from Locke. "Jack, Council second wave incoming, twice the size of the first, and we've lost 3 more cruisers." Jack's stomach turned to lead. The Council wasn't retreating. If anything, they were escalating. They wanted Earth broken, completely. As Jack stood on the bridge, staring out at the battered remnants of the first battle, he felt the weight of it. This was no longer a battle for pride or politics. This was a fight for survival, for humanity itself, and the worst was yet to come. The Council's second wave dropped out of hyperspace with terrifying precision. Dozens of capital ships, carrier groups, dreadnoughts that made Earth's heaviest cruisers look like toys. They advanced in a wall of steel and plasma, no hesitation, no pretense of negotiation this time. Just annihilation. The warning came over the comms just as Resolute docked briefly with the orbital platform Haven. Jack barely had time to step off the gangway when Admiral Locke's face appeared on a priority holo call. "Jack," Locke said, no formalities now. "They're coming hard. Estimated 6 hours until full engagement." Jack rubbed his tired eyes. "Casualties?" Locke's voice dropped. "We've lost nearly a third of the fleet. The orbital guns are running hot. Maintenance teams can barely keep them online. And planetside, civilians are panicking." Jack exhaled slowly. This was what the Council wanted, to grind Earth down, physically and psychologically. Let fear do the work of plasma cannons. He cut to the heart of it. We can't match that second wave ship for ship. No. Locke agreed. But maybe we don't have to. A pause. Jack narrowed his eyes. What are you thinking? Locke leaned in. We hit their command ship. Cut the head off the beast. It was insane. The Council's flagship, a colossal dreadnought called Judicator, was shielded by an entire battle group. No sane commander would attack it directly. And yet, it was their one chance. Jack's mind whirred. We'd need stealth, precision, something they won't expect. Locke nodded. I'm pulling together a strike team. Small, fast, you're leading it. Jack didn't hesitate. Send me the roster. We launch immediately. Minutes later, Jack stood in the hangar bay of Haven, watching as a sleek, blackened corvette, ISV Phantom, was prepped for launch. One of Earth's few stealth-capable ships designed for infiltration, not prolonged combat. Marcus strode up, helmet tucked under one arm. You didn't think I'd let you have all the fun, did you? Jack allowed the faintest smirk. Could use someone to cover my back. They boarded the Phantom, along with a hand-picked crew, veterans, all of them, men who had lost comrades in the first assault, men with nothing left to lose. As the ship powered up, Jack addressed them. You all know what we're flying into. No guarantees, no fallback, but if we can take that command ship down, it might buy Earth the time it needs to survive. A grim chorus of assent answered him. The Phantom launched into the black. Engines running cold, active camouflage engaged. It slipped beneath the Council fleet like a shark beneath a school of prey. From the cockpit, Jack watched the enemy formation grow on the sensors. Judicator sat at the center, a monstrous silhouette wreathed in escort ships. Time to target? Jack asked. Kira, now at the helm, answered. 17 minutes, if we're not spotted. The tension was suffocating. One sensor ping, one flicker of energy signature, and they'd be swarmed. As they approached the outer screen, 2 Council frigates drifted dangerously close. The crew held their breath. Marcus's voice came low over the comm. Easy! Stay dark! The frigates passed without alarm. The Phantom slipped through. 10 minutes out, then 8, then 5. Kira's voice was a whisper. I've got an opening. Portside hangar. Minimal shield overlap. Jack's decision was instant. Take us in. The Phantom banked hard, diving toward the behemoth. The hangar's magnetic field shimmered ahead, just enough room for a fast entry. The moment they crossed the threshold, Jack shouted, Disembark! Go! Go! Armored boots hit the deck, weapons up. The strike team fanned out, moving with lethal precision. They were inside the enemy flagship. And now, the real fight began. The interior of the Judicator was a cold, alien maze of polished steel and humming energy conduits. The walls seemed to pulse faintly, alive with the ship's systems. Jack moved at point, rifle tight to his shoulder, every nerve sharp. Behind him, Marcus and the strike team fanned out, clearing corridors with brutal efficiency. There was no chatter, no wasted motion. They all knew what was at stake. Their target was deep within the dreadnought, the primary command core, a fortified nexus of data and communications. If they could reach it and trigger a cascade overload, the ship would be dead in space. Kira's voice came through the team comms. 3 decks down, multiple shielded bulkheads. Expect heavy resistance. Jack checked his weapon. We move fast, no stalls. If we get pinned, we're done. They advanced, shadows among shadows. For a moment, the halls were eerily empty. Too empty. Jack's instincts screamed trap. At the next junction, it sprang. Council shock troops, tall, spined creatures with chitin armor and plasma pikes, poured from hidden alcoves. A wall of searing plasma split the corridor. Ambush! Marcus shouted. Jack dove for cover, firing in short, precise bursts. The team responded with lethal discipline, Grenades, railgun slugs, pulse charges. The corridor became a meat grinder. 2 of the team went down in the first wave, cut to pieces before they could react. Jack forced the grief down. No time, no room for hesitation. "Push through," he ordered. Grenades cleared the path. The team surged forward, leaving smouldering bodies in their wake. Blood, thick and dark, coated the deck. Marcus caught up beside Jack, breathing hard. "They knew we'd come." Jack's jaw clenched. "Doesn't matter, we finish this." Kira's voice crackled again. "They're rerouting security. You'll have 1 window, 2 minutes tops, to breach the core." "Understood," Jack replied. They moved with brutal urgency, burning through sealed hatches, overriding alien systems. Every second mattered. When they finally reached the core deck, the resistance thickened. Automated turrets sprang to life. More council troops converged. The firefight was savage, point blank, no room to maneuver. Marcus took a glancing plasma shot to the side, but kept moving, teeth bared. "Damn bugs don't die easy." Jack blew the last turret with a focused EMP charge. Ahead, the command core doors loomed. Massive, shielded, locked down. Kira came through again. "Remote override engaged. You'll have to breach the final lock manually." Jack turned to Marcus. "Cover me." He dropped to the console, fingers flying over alien controls, bypassing systems he barely understood. Sweat poured down his face. 30 seconds, Kira warned. The lock clunked once, then again. Suddenly, a council officer, a towering, blade-armed brute, charged from the flank. Marcus caught it mid-lunge, driving a combat knife into its throat. The creature spasmed and collapsed. "Move, Jack!" Marcus growled. Final override engaged. The core doors parted with a grinding hiss. "Inside," Jack ordered. The team poured in, weapons ready. The core was a towering chamber of energy conduits and data spires. At its heart, the Nexus control, a pulsing crystal matrix. Jack sprinted to the matrix, rigging charges. "Kira, detonation sync?" "Ready. You light it, we pull out." Jack armed the charges, heart pounding. "Detonation in 90 seconds. Suddenly, another voice on the comms. "Lock. Jack, Council fleet just launched fighters. They're swarming. You have maybe 5 minutes before exfil becomes impossible." Jack didn't hesitate. "Understood. We're moving." With the charges set, the team turned to run, but fresh enemy squads were closing from all sides. Plasma fire raked the corridor. "Through them!" Jack roared. The team fought like demons, every inch contested, every kill hard-earned. Marcus dragged a wounded soldier as they moved, face a grim mask. The Phantom was still docked. Barely. Kira's voice came sharp. "Hatches open! Move now, or you're stranded." They broke into the hangar at a dead sprint. Plasma bolts scorched the deck around them. One soldier fell, another casualty they couldn't stop for. Jack covered the last of the team as they dove aboard. Marcus hauled himself in last, blood streaking his armor. "Hatch sealed!" Kira shouted. "We're away!" The Phantom blasted from the hangar just as the charges detonated. Through the view screen, they watched as the heart of Judicator erupted, shockwaves ripping through the dreadnought. On the comms, Locke's voice came, tight with emotion. "You did it, Jack. The Council fleet's in disarray. We have a window." Jack slumped in his seat, exhausted. "Then let's not waste it." But as the Phantom raced for friendly lines, Jack's gut twisted. They'd struck a blow, but the Council wouldn't forgive it. The war was far from over. The Phantom limped back to Earth's defensive perimeter, her stealth systems burned out from the escape run, hull scorched in 6 places. They'd made it. Barely. But Jack knew the mission's cost was still coming due. Admiral Locke was waiting on the comms as soon as they re-entered secure space. His voice was tight, but edged with something Jack hadn't heard in days. Hope. "The Council fleet's pulling back from forward positions." Locke reported. "They're in chaos. Some units broke formation entirely when the Judicator went dark." Jack exhaled slowly. "Won't last. They'll regroup." Locke nodded grimly. "They will, but you bought us time." Time. Not victory, just a brief, gasping window of it. Back aboard the Resolute, Jack debriefed with Marcus in the tactical room. The team had lost 3 more men during the escape. Good soldiers, the kind Earth couldn't afford to lose. Jack felt every one of those deaths like a weight pressing on his chest. Marcus downed a stim shot, face pale but steady. "So what's next?" Jack tapped the display. "We hold this perimeter, hard. If the Council pushes again, they'll come angry and sloppy. That's our chance to bleed them further." Marcus gave a dark chuckle. Just another day in paradise. Before Jack could reply, a priority alert blared through the ship. The comms officer shouted from the bridge, "Planetside transmission! Urgent!" Jack and Marcus sprinted to the command deck. The screen flared to life, showing President Harper in the fortified EarthGov command bunker. The man looked worn, eyes bloodshot, voice frayed. "Commander Holden," Harper began without preamble, "we've confirmed civilian sabotage on multiple orbital platforms. Coordinated, Council agents, we believe." Jack's stomach sank. "How bad?" "2 platforms are compromised. 1 destroyed. And—" Harper's voice cracked slightly. "Council forces launched stealth dropships, ground incursions. They're here!" Earth's surface had been breached. Jack's hands curled into fists. He'd spent his entire life fighting beyond the stars, but now the war had come home. Harper continued. "They're targeting infrastructure, power grids, communications hubs. If we lose network control, planetary defense will collapse." Jack didn't wait for orders. "I'll lead a strike team groundside. We secure those hubs or Earth burns." Harper gave a sharp nod. "You have full authority." Locke's voice came through next, cool and direct. "Jack, I'll reroute the Resolute to low orbit. Provide overwatch and gunship support." "Understood." Minutes later, Jack was geared up and aboard a drop shuttle, Marcus at his side. The team was lean, only those fit to move after the brutal space fight. No choice. The shuttle punched through the atmosphere, rattling hard as it entered combat airspace. Below, the planet seethed, fires blooming across cityscapes, plumes of smoke rising into the sky. Kira's voice crackled from the cockpit. "Ground comms are jammed. We're flying blind." Jack's jaw tightened. "Then we carve a path." They hit the ground hard, dust and debris swirling as the team disembarked into a war zone. The city was unrecognizable, once gleaming spires now blackened and broken. Council hunter drones stalked the streets, cutting down anything that moved. Civilian screams echoed through the ruins. Jack's team moved like ghosts, eliminating drones with silenced rail shots, reclaiming sector by sector. But at the central comms hub, their primary objective, they found hell waiting. A full Council kill squad had fortified the structure, supported by towering war machines. Plasma turrets swept the streets, leaving melted craters where Earth resistance had already tried and failed to break through. Marcus surveyed the scene grimly. "They're daring us to come." Jack's eyes were cold steel. "Then we oblige." He called in air support. Moments later, Resolute's rail cannons hammered from low orbit, blasting a path through the outer defenses. "Move!" Jack shouted. Through fire and smoke the team advanced, every step a battle. Plasma burned past Jack's head as he laid down covering fire, Marcus dragging a wounded soldier clear of the blast zone. Grenades, rail slugs, blades when the ammo ran dry. They fought like men possessed, because they had no other choice. Finally, battered and bleeding, they breached the comms hub. Jack rigged the uplinks manually, fingers shaking but precise. One by one, the defense grid came back online. Planetary turrets reactivating, jamming fields lifting. Above them, Locke's voice came through. "Jack, defense grid is responding. We've got full targeting lock on Council vessels." Earth could fight again. But as Jack stood among the smouldering wreckage, he knew the war was far from won. This was just survival. The Council would come again. Stronger, meaner. And Jack would be ready. The planet didn't sleep that night. No one did. Fires still raged across the cities, columns of smoke choking the skies. Sirens howled through the ruins. Civilians huddled in shelters, too numb to cry, too scared to hope. Jack sat in the shattered remains of the comms hub, armor scorched, skin caked in grime and blood. His muscles ached, every breath a fight. Around him, what was left of the strike team patched wounds and counted the dead. They'd bought Earth a few more hours, maybe a day. No more. A secure comm buzzed on Jack's gauntlet. He keyed it on. Admiral Locke's voice came through, grim and heavy. "Jack, long-range scans just confirmed it. The Council's third wave is inbound. All of it. Every fleet they can muster." Jack closed his eyes. He'd known it was coming. After the Judicator's destruction, the Council wouldn't tolerate defiance. This wasn't about conquest anymore, it was about erasure. "They'll hit in force within 20 hours. Locke continued. "We're still too damaged to hold another orbital siege. Ground batteries are being repaired, but they won't be enough." Jack stood slowly, rolling stiff shoulders. "Options?" Locke hesitated. 1. A new voice broke in. President Harper, patched straight from EarthGov's command center. "There's a prototype weapon," Harper said quietly. "Deep-core fusion lance, designed for planetary defense, never tested in real combat. If we fire it, it'll burn out half the grid. Maybe more, but it might gut the Council's vanguard when they drop." Jack understood the subtext. The weapon wasn't precise. Firing it would cause massive collateral damage. Civilians in the blast radius wouldn't survive. Harper didn't say it out loud, but the choice hung in the air. Jack's voice was low. "You're asking me to call it?" "You've been the tip of the spear since this began," Harper replied. "Your call. The people will follow your lead." Jack felt the weight settle on his shoulders. Thousands of lives on one side, maybe millions if the Council broke through. He looked at Marcus, who'd listened silently. The Colonel's face was hard, eyes bloodshot. "If we don't fire it," Marcus said flatly, "no one survives." "Not the cities, not us, not Earth." Jack exhaled slowly. He thought of the soldiers who died on Judicator, the civilians butchered in the streets, the kids huddled underground waiting for a salvation that might not come. There was no good choice, only the least bad one. He keyed the comm to Harper. "Prep the lance. Target the Council's lead formation." A pause. Then Harper's grim acknowledgement. "Understood. God help us all." The hours crawled by as Earth prepared. Defense grids recalibrated. Evacuation orders screamed across what was left of the network. Jack returned to Resolute, its battered hull patched just enough to stay in the fight. Locke met him on the bridge, face drawn. "They'll be in range soon," Locke said. Jack nodded. "Then we finish it." Outside the viewports, space shimmered. Council ships transitioning in-system. A vast wall of enemy steel. Dreadnoughts, carriers, swarms of fighters. Enough firepower to level 100 worlds. But the fusion lance was ready. One shot, one desperate play. As the Council fleet advanced, Jack keyed open the planetary command channel. His voice, rough with exhaustion, went out to every defender, every survivor listening. "This is Commander Jack Halden," he began. "They're coming for all of us. No surrender, no mercy. We hold this line or we die on our knees. And if we go down, we take as many of them with us as we damn well can." A rumble of voices answered from across the net. Soldiers, pilots, civilians, all with nothing left to lose. The moment came. The Council's lead formation crossed into range. Locke's voice was steady. "Lance ready." Jack stared at the tactical display. Every instinct screamed at him. The cost, the lives below. But the alternative was extinction. "Fire," he said. The deep core lance roared to life. A beam of pure fusion energy lanced through the void, ripping across the Council fleet like a scythe. Enemy ships disintegrated, dreadnoughts shattered, fighters vaporized mid-flight. The Council formation fractured, panic rippling through their ranks. But the cost was immediate. Half the defense grid went dark. City sectors lost power. Fires spread uncontrolled. Civilians in the outer zones were lost. Jack sat in silence, fists clenched. The price had been paid. Locke's voice broke through. "The Council's pulling back. Their command's broken. For now." For now. Jack looked out at the burning planet below. They'd survived, barely. But Earth was scarred, its people bloodied. The Council would return. And next time, there might be no prototype weapon to save them. As the battered fleet regrouped, Jack stood alone on the bridge. Victory was a lie. Survival was the only truth left. But as long as he breathed, Earth would stand.